MMAWeekly.com, Damon Martin here with Scott Coker in Chicago. Scott, obviously big fight coming up Saturday night in Chicago. Main event, Fedor versus Henderson. This is a dream match a lot of people have been talking about for a long time. How long have you actually thought about this fight actually happening?
You know, this fight, we started thinking about this fight after Dan and beat Fedor, and said, you know, Fedor's you know, pretty big light heavyweight, and at that time we were looking for an opponent for Fedor, and we said, what about Dan? And sat down with my matchmakers and my fight team, and when I reached out to Dan, I said, Dan, you know, this is just a thought, you know, and he said, I want that fight. I know you're going to ask me if I want to fight Fedor, and I want that fight. So I called up Steve Bash, and we put this fight together, and it only took a couple days, and both gentlemen are, you know, legends in the sport, and it really is an honor as a fight promoter to put this fight together.
You're right, both of them are legends, but technically they're kind of on different career paths right now. I mean, Dan had a big career resurgence with the win over Babalu, obviously beating Fedor for the title. Now he's the light heavyweight champion. Fedor, of course, coming off a couple losses, you know, really the first two losses of his career. I mean, how big is a win or a loss for either guy in this fight?
I think that, you know, to me, Dan has a little bit more, let's say, leeway in that. I think Fedor had 3 losses in a row. I mean, I think, you know, it's not a good thing, and maybe it's time to evaluate the career path. But he looks in great shape, and I think that it's going to be a great fight on Saturday night.
Not to play conspiracy theory, but Marloes Coenen was not at the press conference today. Obviously said she was running late. Was there anything else behind that as far as why she wasn't here?
No, you know, I don't have the whole story on that, but I'm sure that, you know, she'll be fine from here on out. We'll go and track her down and see where, you know, whether there was a makeup issue or a food issue, or, you know, we're not sure what it is, so I'll find out.
How big is this fight? I know you mentioned when we talked to you last on the radio show that the fight between Liz Carmouche and Marloes Coenen spiked, you know, some of the highest ratings for that Showtime broadcast. So how big do you feel like the fight with her and Miesha Tate can be for not only Showtime and Strikeforce, but also for women's MMA?
You know, if you think about this fight, it's historical in the sense that also this was the first title fight in the female division under the Zuffa umbrella. And I think it's going to have something that will be written down in the history books, because, you know, who would ever thought that Zuffa would have a female division and female title fight, especially on the undercard to such a great main event, because there's going to be a lot of eyes on this fight, you know, on Saturday night. So I think it's historical in a sense.
You've been a very big fan of women's MMA this entire time, and now that we're, you know, a few months under the Zuffa umbrella, Strikeforce 2.0 as you call it,
yep.
Have you had those conversations with the guys at Zuffa? Just because I know you've battled for a long time to present and really give women's MMA a home. We don't know what the long-term plans are, but have you had those discussions with them at all?
You know, not only are they okay with female MMA, but you know, Showtime loves female MMA. So you know, I think that as long as the ratings keep growing and we keep growing stars, you'll see a lot of female fights on Showtime.
I know it's a very much a wait-and-see approach with the fight between Paul Daly and Tyron Woodley,
right.
But I mean, a win for either guy right here. Does it? I mean, I hate to ever put anything pegged down in stone, but would the winner pretty much have to be pretty close in line to being the next title contender at welterweight?
You know what? We were asked that question earlier today, but I think that that's something I'll reserve comment on, and you know, I'll have something for you guys probably in about, you know, 3-4 weeks.
And just a couple house cleaning items real quick. We mentioned women's MMA. Gina Carano, of course, out at Comic-Con last week. You know, we saw the trailer for Haywire.
Looks great. Yeah. Looks amazing. I mean, I tell you, poor Channing, he took a good licking on that fight scene. So, got to give him credit too, because I'm sure those stunts were not easy.
Yeah. So, what is the you know, the latest conversations you've had with Gina?
We talked to her management about 2 weeks ago, and they let us know, you know, that she's feeling much better, and that she'll probably be entering training camp in the next a week or 10 days after Comic-Con.
Do you think we'll be able to see her in 2011?
Yes, I think you'll be seeing her towards the end of the year fighting.
Okay. And what's the latest update, again, on the women's MMA side with Cris Cyborg?
You know, I know negotiations are still going on, and that's actually something that we might have an update, you know, hopefully in the next week or so.
And it was announced this week, of course, the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix going to Cincinnati, Ohio, my hometown,
right.
Coming up September 10th. How has the momentum for this tournament felt to you so far? I mean, so much attention. Obviously, the rebirth of Josh Barnett, Sergey Karatanov, Bigfoot Silva. Obviously, a little bit of a loss with Overeem not being in the tournament now, but you get a young guy like Daniel Cormier getting a chance. How much momentum do you feel like this tournament still has?
I'll tell you, the nice thing about tournaments is that you will find a new star when you host a tournament. And I've always believed that, because working for K1, every year we created new stars, you know, in the kickboxing world back in, you know, the early 2000s. So I believe a new star will emerge from this tournament coming up, and I don't think it's going to be, you know, somebody that you know that you just peg and say, oh, this is Josh is the guy, or Bigfoot Silva's the guy. I think it's going to be unpredictable, and I think that you know, even Daniel Cormier I think has a good shot, because that guy's an amazing talent, great wrestler, great striker now, and you never know what's going to happen in these tournaments.
Last question. I know you were part of the promotion team now with Zuffa, but be honest. We saw when the WEC folded into the UFC, you know, all the WEC guys and even the people who used to work there said, WEC never die, you know, we're going to still root for our guys.
Right.
When Nick Diaz goes in and fights George St. Pierre,
Nick Diaz all the way. Are you kidding me? That's my boy. No, but you know what? Nick Diaz is, you know, he's a guy that came from the UFC, and you know, I felt that we were instrumental in, you know, rebuilding his career. And now it's teed up and he's fighting GSP, and believe me, I like GSP, and you know, at my house we watch all his fights, but you know, I'm going for Nick all the way.
Thanks very much, Scott.
Thanks, Dan.